What's up, everybody? What's up, Gator Steve? Long time
What's
no speak. How's life, my brother?
doing great, my brother? Just hanging out, man. I got off work. Once you sent me the invite, man, I was cooking to get home, man. I'm working in my hometown, the town I grew up in. So that was a weird change of events. But how are
How
you doing, my brother?
how far is that from where you are now?
I mean, shit, it's only 50 miles. It's the crazy thing about it is last three jobs I've had is 50 miles in three different directions. But I think this is the best paying of all of them. So uh, I'm 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 blessed to have the opportunity. But how are you doing, my brother?
Well, life's good. College football starts tomorrow, so that's I mean, it kind of starts. I mean, it's not like it's much of a start, but you got like one game basically. But just good to have it back in general.
Who you
Hey,
got with the Florida Miami game?
hey, Bear.
Are we talking straight up?
Yeah, just straight up.
Whew, it's closed, Gator. It's fucking closed. I'd probably I think Florida's gonna have a tough season because of their schedule this year, but I'd probably take them. I'd probably take them week one. I mean, I just don't. I think Mario Cristobal is like the worst coach in football, so it's hard to bet week one with him. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Hi.
definitely interesting to see.
hell yeah,
What's up,
hell yeah.
Jason?
Listen, nothing much.
You okay, buddy? Are you raging?
Yeah.
Let it out. Let it out.
R, uh, RFK is
Let's see what word you're
cucking.
gonna use. Cucking? Ah, all right. I thought we were gonna go with a much, like ah, I thought it was gonna be better than that. But I mean, so why do you think that, Jason?
Because Trump is a, um, against everything RFK. Um, R, Trump is for everything RFK is against with the vaccine issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, when it comes to that issue, there, and I think that's what RFK continues to kind of, you know, in his speech today, it was good to hear him say like, "Hey, I talked to Trump." Multiple times, but like he kind of nice fireworks going on. Sorry, I was distracted, but like he kept saying like, I forgot what I was gonna say. What's up, Free? Oh,
See, marijuana will do that to you, man.
fucking
You gotta chill
fireworks
out
are
there, buddy.
fucking going on here, Free.
Is it
But
really
what's up, brother?
fireworks?
Yeah, beautiful.
Or is that the name of the strain, buddy? Like, no, I'm playing.
No, the name is still Kelly Kush is still and that's still undefeated. But what's up, brother?
Man, are you? I'm feeling the joy, brother. I'm feeling the joy. That's what's up with me. I mean, how are you feeling?
I mean, I've kind of after Trump was shot at. I mean, there were months I was very very upset about the Bob Good thing. And then Trump was shot at, and it was kind of like, oh, fuck, fuck. I mean, of course, I mean, most people who know me well on here, they're like, well, there's no shot. Like, I'm not going to vote for him after that. And then he names Vance, and I know it's upset a lot of people, and everybody's all this and that. Like, I love Vance, so that made me even more to support Trump. Um, and I just think free. I don't listen to anything Trump says. I don't. Besides today, I don't watch his rallies.
Yep.
I don't go on True Social, um, and I don't really. It's not that I don't care. It's I know who Trump is at this point. I don't love it, but I I know what's on the other side. So that's how I viewed it. Like, there's not much like. Again, you and I kind of disagreed about his statement earlier today. Like, we
Yep.
had different kind of views on it, but like it there's not much he can say over these next few months that won't. There's actually nothing you could probably say that won't get, that would keep me home and with Kamala and Tampon Tim on the other side. There's just not.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine. I was a little confused about the statement at first, right? And so I actually started the space because I'm like, somebody explain to me what's changed, like what has changed policy wise, right? So when I started the space, it was really because I was trying to like mentally work through it because you can be influenced by what you read on this app, right? When especially when something initially happens, you can be easily influenced in what your opinion should be, right? So when the for you is telling you you're supposed to be outraged about this, your instant reaction is, whoa, oh, okay, everybody else is outraged, I should be outraged. And I try not to do that anymore, man. I try to like step back and like really ask questions and think about the context and like so that's what I did with this one. And I started out a little I don't know, it wasn't great. And then the more I think about it, I'm just like, dude is ripping the band-aid off, man. He's ripping the band-aid off like super quick instead of super slow. And that band-aid's gonna have to get ripped off at some point. It just is where the country is. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But when 60 some percent of the country feels a certain way, and you're in the 30%, and even in that 30%, you only got have like maybe half who really, really, really care about it, who are not just like virtue signaling. I mean, we're in the minority on this issue. So
Free, like I don't. So I don't. I mean, I've said it. Like I am not. Abortion is not number one on my voting. I'm just talking about me specifically. But like, if you if you present me with like actual data, like that's when I'll actually pay attention to stuff. And so I just personally think I'm a million percent with you when it comes to where the country's at. Like it's not. You look at Kansas, you look at Ohio. Like anytime it's actually left up to the people, um, pro-choice wins. Like it's just how it is. But with that being said, there are ads currently running um, against Trump that show, he will sign a national abortion ban. Like, and it's not just Trump. If you have an R next to your name, that's just how they view you. So him trying to placate to the middle, it's it's not a winning strategy. Like Steve Deace, to his credit, has laid out, and again, he has defended Trump um, against the same people you love going back and forth with all day long. I mean,
conservatives.
Dace has been very vocal on his show about the same
Yeah.
exact people. But like, I'm not disagreeing with those people per se, but like, so I don't think it's a good strategy to alienate a certain percentage of the base that some of them are single issue voters. Like Trump ran on Roe v. Wade 2016, won 11 million more in 2020. Like I don't like the Democrats already view him free. Like they've already branded him. You can't alienate a certain percentage of your base to voters that are not going to vote for you.
Can
Like
I
like
tell you why I disagree?
yeah, go.
Um, you said that the people in the middle are just going to believe the opposite. I don't believe that. I believe if you come out and you publicly say, "Hey, this is my position on this, and I'm not going to sign a national abortion ban," you say it on stage at a debate when everybody's
Right.
looking. People
Free.
tend to believe that if you're bucking your own party, that maybe you're telling the truth. If you're like, so it's
So
yeah.
my thing is every time he opens his mouth or posts about it, he hurts himself. Like personally, I think if he just leaves it alone, like he'll be absolutely fine. But like, I'm not asking him to take this bent over backwards pro life approach. Like it doesn't work on the national level. Like I can't believe that tweet you from the account you had tweeted earlier. I was dying when I read that because that was like
Yeah.
beyond
He
beyond
literally has the
hypocrisy.
same
Like
position as
beyond
Trump has right
hypocrisy. Like
now,
it's
which is like
incredible. But
this will
but
cost
like
us the election.
but like you can't alienate people that would vote for you. You just can't. I just free like I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
can. I'm gonna tell
abortion.
you why you
No, like
can. Because
no,
there's
like
such a
Trump could just
small
say leave
number.
it to this. Trump could say leave it to the states. I I was
They
the most
decide
pro-life
the
president ever.
the
Blah blah blah. But like when you start entering pro-choice territory, like he started at today, it's just not a winning strategy. I mean,
I'm just
it's
gonna
just
tell you
not.
the people who would
the
be so mad that they won't vote for him over this are such a small and
no,
insignificant.
they aren't.
They really are.
The pro the
Jason, can you let Bear and Free just
I
buddy? Come on.
I'm just saying they're such a small and insignificant number. I'm not saying that they're insignificant people. I'm saying that the number is insignificant compared to when you compare it to the people in the middle who don't have very strong opinions on this. It's just, I mean, again, if you look at that chart with the poll, and this
but
is not like
I
it's a
would
one
agree
off
that
the
poll.
evangelical
they don't have
community
strong opinions on it.
the
So like
evangelical
it doesn't really
community
matter what route he takes. Like he's not losing those people, but he will lose the Republican. Like we look at RFK, like we'll talk about RFK, but like why RFK didn't have a path? Like he didn't have a base. Like he's running as an independent. Like Trump right now, and free. I'm a million percent with you on this issue on a national level, and I think messaging is the biggest issue by far. Like I mean, Trump doesn't message it well, obviously, but like it's you cannot piss off these you, you just cannot lose a certain percentage of them and still win.
Well,
Like
Barry, I'm very very pro life, and
you just can't.
I'm less pro Trump than I am pro life,
Yeah,
and
but you also vote more. I mean, you vote 100% like I do.
well,
Like it's a sporting event. But like I
100%. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
I'm just saying, like I'm talking about the people where that's the single issue voter, and it's a
They got to grow
huge.
up. These guys have got to
I am not
evangelicals
disagreeing with
will
they've
you.
got
not turn out to
I'm
vote
not
for
they've
disagreeing
Trump.
with
got
you.
to politically they have to politically grow up, and somebody's got to be the one to rip the band-aid off. we're
No,
in a
but
we're in
evangelicals, he can't win without evangelicals.
My point is that he's not going to lose a significant number of evangelicals, and anything he loses he will
He
gain.
will. He will.
He'll gain by getting those people in the middle, and
Well,
the reason is
I'm
he's
not.
already accomplished the
He's taking the
national
he's taking the
goal.
chance. What you're saying.
Say again.
I mean, and I don't. It's not that I disagree with it, but like I mean, he's rolling the dice of what you just said, where
Well, he's got to make the case
he
to them. He's
believes
got to.
those he believes those people are already baked in, where he can now try to be greedy and play to the middle. And I just free like
Well, he's got to
independent
make the
voters, like
case. He's got to
if you
say,
can.
"Listen, I delivered the what you've been asking for. You wanted it sent back to the states. Now you got to grow up, put on your big boy pants, and deal with it in your own state. We're not having this national conversation around abortion because I did
I
what you wanted
I
done for
agree,
decades, right? So you got to pull
100%.
that
That
band-aid off
should be
and
the
tell your
messaging.
people to
Free,
grow up.
But then he's saying that
free.
he
That should
wants
hold on, Jason.
Amendment
Jason,
4 to pass.
hold on, Jason, hold on. I agree. That should be the messaging. If that was the messaging, I'd be 100% fine with it. Like I was the most pro-life president, which you it's hard to argue. You know, unfortunately, he's maybe not the most pro-life person, but he was the most pro-life president.
Indeed,
And
yes,
you know,
yes.
it's with the states. Like if he kept it that messaging, perfect, fucking perfect. But he's not. He saw Kamala. He's sitting down. I mean, free. Come on. He's sitting down watching Kamala's speech, and Kamala, which was horrible, was boring, and all that shit. But she's nailing him on all these issues. So like he's watching the speech. So now he's starting to play even a little bit, farther center now. Like he's itching into pro-choice territory, and I just, to me, I just think if he could just say leave it to the states, I just think that would be a much more effective answer. But he just continues to just, you know, he continues to leave that door open, and it's like I just think it's a certain base for you where it's actually pretty important, especially during this election cycle when you do have a far leftist, and that's the equation Trump's kind of taken in, where he's trusting they're going to come out for him because of what the opposition is.
Well, I mean, again, there's more voters in that um, that slice of the pie. There's 60+% of the country who are in that slice of the
He
pie.
can't lose the evangelical vote and win the election.
Again, I still say he won't lose the evangelical vote. I don't think most people think along those binaries. I think,
He's definitely not going to lose the vote. I mean,
yeah,
he's definitely not going to lose the evangelical. I mean, I think last I saw, I mean, even though in a bad poll he was up like 33, like he's not going to lose the. It depends on, like, the evangelicals for Harris. Like it's a brilliant strategy because
yeah,
they weren't all like they weren't trying to sell Kamala onto the voter base. They were playing Trump's old words and this and that. They're just trying to get a certain percentage to stay home. Like they recognize the size of that percentage of the vote in the Republican Party, so they target a certain percentage to try to stay home. Like that's the whole point of that. So like, and Trump's kind of like with today, like I think he's been all right on it until today. Like he's just playing to the pro-choice crowd, and it's like, yeah, you are gambling your own. Or about if you put your hand up again, I'm gonna shove it up your ass. Gator Steve, go ahead.
I mean, you guys are spot on because there's a lot of people. I'm pro life. I've you know donated pro life causes most of my life. There was once where we mutually agreed that our goal was to return it to the states. Well, congratulations, we're here. We don't need to automatically jump to the point of having a federal abortion ban, and I think that's what a lot of you know conservatives want, but that's never going to happen. It's always been something that needs to be happen it's a discussion that needs to be happen at the local and state level. What you view as murder, I view it as murder. But again, I've got to sit down and I have to have a conversation with a coalition of people who are more pissed off about what's going on, you know, coming under their table, because I think that's where America is. There's a lot of people that are absolutely 100% pro life, but at the point we're at, when we're looking communism versus, you know, freedom, that's the conversation that's going on in America, like it or not. I know a lot of people want to turn it into a binary discussion that, oh, you're going to lose this segment of the population. The fact of the matter is no, because most conservative people, talk in circles, and we're all kind of pissed off about what's going on in the world today. And that's the
Right. So Gator, I'm with you, but the one thing I'll push back on is like you go into the general election with your base, and that's something Trump has bigger than any Republican. But like, so you go into the general election with a certain percentage. I mean, well, hopefully most of the Republican base, correct? Like
absolutely.
you have to expand on that without losing your base. You start losing percentages of your base. Now you have to even get even more than votes that you wanted from independents and Democrats. Like you go into the general with your base, you start losing some of your most loyal. And again, I agree with you on the like. I agree we need to like. The issue is we can debate on how we should handle it, this and that, but like you can't you can't debate the percentage of the base that's important for a Republican to win the White
Well, let
House.
me give you some
Like
numbers real quick, Bear. I'm gonna post it to the
it's
nest as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
I'm on a website.
go ahead.
You can Google it yourself as well before I post it. But I just went top voting issues for Republicans. All right, put that in Google. A website called Statista came up, and it's got the polls or whatever in there. abortion was only the top voting issue for 4% of Republicans. It's 15% of Democrats, 5% of independents. But only 4% of Republicans said that that was their top issue, right? The top issues for Republicans are basically inflation, immigration, and jobs in the economy and national security, right? So again, you're talking 4% of Republicans. 4% say this is my top voting issue. And by the way, in the past, no, no, no. In the past, that used to be the top vote, one of the top voting issues for Republicans, but no longer. And so that's why I say, like, I know I understand the instinct. The instinct is like, because that's the way we came up. We came up with this being the top voting issue. We're like, it must still be the top voting issue. But when I tell you that most people don't care that much anymore, nationally, because it's back in the states, and either their state has already settled this issue or their state is going to settle this issue. Most people just don't, they're not voting based on this issue, and that's most Republicans.
Can I just say, Free, you're right, and Bear is right. At the same time, it is messaging. We are fucking poor at messaging, but also that we don't. It is the state's issue, right? We need to educate people more. I know, Free, you had a great space about this, about the Amendment 4 in Florida last week. People don't understand. Like, I didn't even know, if you don't vote no on Amendment 4 down in Florida, that it goes back up to 9 months. However, it's still a state issue. Nationally, though, people are more concerned about other things, the border, in the economy, other things like that. So we have to be better. One at
Fentanyl. Fentanyl would be the fentanyl crisis. Add that to the.
Okay, well, fine. Well, that's
Right,
part of the border.
but
That's part of the border. Whoever's speaking.
but
I
that's
know.
but that's totally fine. But that's totally fine. So like talk about those issues.
That,
There's no need,
Four
like
percent,
I'm
Bear.
with you guys on where this issue.
4%, man.
It
eh,
is
eh,
not. Hold on, I will give you numbers
Yeah,
after this
yeah.
space for you. I
Okay,
promise. I have them.
gotcha.
Well, I
Like
can
it
tell you
is
for me,
not worth
abortion is like
alienating a
number
certain
6.
percentage.
Abortion to me is like
Hold
number
on,
6,
Bubba.
Bear.
Hold on.
Hey,
Relax.
hold on.
Relax.
Number 6, Bear. That's what it is to me.
Relax. Relax.
Well, I am
Hold on.
relaxing. Why are you
Relax.
telling me I'm not relaxed? Are you
Relax.
not relaxed?
Because there's hands, and I
I
don't
don't
know who
even
you
know
are,
who's
and you're just
speaking.
coming up and
So
talking, and I don't really give
I
a
think
fuck
it's
what you
that
have to
poker
say, if I'm
trade guy.
quite honest with you. But
Well, then fuck you.
go ahead,
Fuck
Jarbot.
you
You
and
can
your
you can
little
push
gay
back.
ass. Fuck you. Fuck you.
oh my God,
All right. Well,
this.
it's too early for this. So go ahead, Jarbot.
Hey, so
Go ahead.
Bear, I love you, man. I got a slightly different take though. Like, I agree with you. Trump was watching that speech and he's like, "What's the perfect freaking troll that I can post right now that will get everyone worked up?" And he's sitting there watching it. And he's like, "I know what I can post. Let's post something about reproductive rights. A, it'll shore up my defense against people coming at me saying that I'm anti-woman or anti-whatever. And B, it just really trolls them. It uses their language against them. It's
Yeah,
just
lose my
hold
business.
on. It's just like the evangelicals for Harris, right? He's like, it's like a counterpunch that says, listen, I'm in for reproductive rights. And like, I look at it like, hey, this is a great opportunity to pull people in that normally wouldn't have come into the discussion and eventually walk them down the path and show them how bad abortion really is and get them into that life road. Like, that's the whole point of this.
But Jarbot, you think like the evangelicals for Harris is a bad thing? Like I look at it from a strategic point of view, with the amount of people that join that and are talking about that. Like I said, like they are not expecting to win that vote. They're playing Trump's old words and playing it against him now, which we can agree to
No,
disagree,
I
but like
agree with
they're
you.
just trying to get a certain percentage of that vote, not to vote for Kamala, but just to sit their asses, like as Free would say, on the
Sure,
couch. Like that's what they're going
sure, but
after.
it's
So
no
like
different than Trump using
with
their
the
language against
combination
them.
of that and Trump pissing off that exact base, it's not a
He's
good
not pissing off
combination.
that
That's all
base.
I'm
Like,
saying.
that's the thing. What Free was saying, like
He he
the
certainly
small
is.
percentage that are going to be upset
He
about this
definitely
are
is.
the people that are just going to be offended for it, right? Like, and I was arguing with someone earlier. I was like, where are you criticizing DeSantis for supporting a 6-week ban? effectively, that's no different than a 15-week ban. You're still supporting, DeSantis supporting baby killing up until 6
Much
weeks.
different than a 15-week ban.
Well, effectively, no. They're both pro-choice positions, right? You're just killing babies earlier or later. So as long as you're going to not criticize DeSantis for supporting up to 6 weeks, like there's no line there, right? It's all a pro-choice position. But my whole point is, it's using their language against them. It's doing exactly what we said with the Kamala evangelicals for Harris, and it gets the conversation going. If it brings some of those people that are kind of in the middle on the fence into the conservative party, we can teach them about how bad abortion is and go to Mark's Spaces and see the abortion and what it really looks like, because they haven't been educated on it. They don't know what it looks like. This is a great opportunity. I think it's an awesome troll. I mean, at the end of the day, we know that he's kind of in that middle ground, supporting abortion up until a period in time, with the exceptions for rape and incest of the mother. I think the ironic part is most evangelicals and Christians are in that same position. They support the same limits and the same exemptions. So he's doing. I think it's a masterful troll, and at the end of the day, I think it's probably going to bring more people in there. It's only going to piss off the people that already hated him. So it doesn't really matter on the right side. And I think on the left side, it brings them in the conversation. It gives us a chance to teach these people about abortion.
There is not a person that is breathing that read his post that was on the fence about Donald J. Trump, that read his post and said, "Oh my God, oh look what Trump just said.
No, there is.
Look what he said. I'm definitely going to vote for him now."
There are people.
It's just not.
There.
No, not on that issue.
All right, let
Not
me
on that
explain the
issue.
mentality of those people.
Well,
right?
there's one Free did it. So I mean, they do exist.
By the way,
I'll
Chad
let
thinks
Chad
I'm
and
a
Free go ahead.
misogynist
Go ahead,
now.
Chad.
He thinks I'm a misogynist because I don't support Kamala.
Go ahead, Chad.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, that's what
The
you
floor
said.
is yours, Chad.
Well, that was half of what I said. I will say it's a little bit interesting that there are so many people that are like really hung up on it's a state issue. Where does Donald Trump live? Can anyone tell me where he lives? Because I'm pretty sure he lives in South Florida. And Florida has a bill that's going through right now that is worse. I live in one of the worst states when it comes to abortion. It's disgusting. Their law that would get amended to their state constitution would be worse than Colorado's when it comes to abortion. And everybody's like, hey, it's a state issue. If he's so fucking pro-life, why doesn't he say anything? Why is
Because he's running in a national election. And that would be
where does he live?
stupid. It would be
Hold on, Free.
stupid. It would be stupid if you're running for president of the United States and 60+% of the country is not with the pro-lifers on this issue for you to come out.
But so Free, my thing. This is good because this is good. Hold on, Chad. Chad, 1 sec, because I'm going to disagree with Free. So this is actually good. But like, why is it? Why is it just not like he just can come out and say it's a state issue? I live in Florida. It's a dangerous bill. I do not believe, up to birth. The end.
Because the country is not
like the end. He doesn't have to say anything other than that. Like I don't support, like he already says, the Democrats want to do abortion up to birth. So like, why can't he just say the bill supports abortion up to birth? I'm going to be voting no.
Well,
period.
let me ask you a question. Are we asking him to do it just to virtue signal?
No, we're asking him to do it to save children's lives.
No, okay.
What the fuck do you think is the point of running?
I would be asking him to do it.
If you guys don't mind,
so
can we
I'd
just
be
take
asking
it
him
step
to do
by
it other
step?
than the DeSantis supporters. I'd be asking him because his supporters will listen.
Well,
to
here's
him.
the thing. I wanna take it step by step.
And that base is gigantic.
I want to take it step by step, right? Because he said saving lives.
I did think
and
that was hilarious. That
I want to connect the dots between. I want to connect the dots between.
That you can't listen to
Really,
anybody's
come on,
argument
man.
and
Like,
then try to really. Hey, Chad,
I'm just asking you to substantiate your claim.
I'm trying, and you just can't let me talk to actually get anything out, because anytime anybody says anything, you can't actually argue against it. That's
why are
the
you
point.
peeing your pants, man? Don't get your panties in a bunch. It's okay.
I sat here.
It's okay, Free. He's in mommy's basement tonight.
Oh man,
He doesn't know what it's like to have children.
All right. Hold on, LT. Hold on. You can't tell somebody else to be quiet and let me and Free go, and then say the same thing when two men are going at it. All right, the men are speaking as other spaces would say. So, Chad, go ahead, and Free, I'm sure, has plenty. I mean, you guys have had to have a conversation eventually. Might as well
Just
have it
connect the
now.
dots. That's all I'm asking.
Chadley.
I would love to hear a single time since he's been president that he has come out and supported a single thing that was pro-life. In Arizona, the Supreme Court there comes out and they say that he says that the state went way too far in going back to a 6-week abortion ban. In Florida, he calls the abortion ban a 6-week thing a terrible thing. It's
Bring
not that
it,
he's
Chad. Where are
running.
your receipts for that? He did not say that. He did not.
Arizona's approach
No, he definitely said that twice.
was
And I will say, hold on, Lapis, hold on, relax. And I will say, a little caveat to that, though. After he did make that second comment, Iowa did then vote for him. So I will say that. But go ahead, Chad. LT,
Listen,
please.
he's not trying to win a primary anymore. Like he's not. Ron DeSantis is not his enemy, and all he does is go against all of these things that everybody says that we believe in. You guys want to argue about like what's conservative, what's not. What the fuck is the difference between him and Kamala at this point? If they both think it's a state issue and nobody like, I guarantee you that Kamala would rather have this
Oh,
be
Chad, you're
no.
making
Hold
me
on,
gonna
hold on.
side
I
with
would
free
much
now.
rather. I guarantee you that Kamala would much rather have this be a state issue because California and Colorado and Florida is going to make this a 9-month abortion ban problem. Like they don't have to worry about anything the federal government says anymore because guess what? It's a state issue. So you can just fly or go wherever, and guess what? They're going to take over the red states too, and abortion is just going to be on command. They're going to have that bus going around basically everywhere because guess what?
Did you
Like
That's
just
why you
say
can't
what
elect
is the
Kamala.
guarantee.
difference? What is the
I think
difference?
it's a trap,
All right.
guys.
Well,
I think it's
What
a
is the
trap.
all right.
difference
Hold on.
between Florida?
All right, guys, listen. I don't know how you guys run your spaces, but I don't really give a fuck about the crisscross and shit. So like, let's just stop. All right, free. Go right ahead.
All right.
Free. Sorry, there might have been a double mute. I hate using that button.
All right. Yeah. Double mute.
Why I'm sending you a co-host.
All right. So a couple
Go
things.
ahead, Free.
The reason why Chad didn't want me to ask the question is because it's very difficult to answer the question of drawing the direct line from Trump, who is known for converting women who are pro-choice to being pro-life. By the way, that's his bread and butter, right? Because women trust him on this issue. Trump coming out and speaking about this issue and saving the lives of children. It doesn't happen. It's a virtue signal move. So that's number one. And no one can draw that line for me. If it, the left has moved the country to the left on this issue over the course of decades. These people who want to virtue signal this thing, again, I keep saying this, your homework is due now, and you're starting it while the teacher is collecting it, and nobody feels sorry for you because you didn't do your homework. Nobody feels sorry for you because you didn't do the tough job of actually changing hearts and minds on this issue before you put a 6-week ban in place, which
Florida
you knew
has
was
a
going to get a response.
million.
So let
Florida
me
has
just
a million vote
let me
lead
just
in
hold on, man. You
Republicans,
got a chance
and
to speak.
all he has to do is tell them,
Let me
"Go
just
vote
continue
this way,"
going.
and he will not do it.
Most of his supporters are already pro-life, but at the end of the day, we face an issue where most of the people in this country don't believe that it's murder. They don't believe that life starts at conception or whenever you think it starts. So you haven't even converted them on the basics. You think a few months
I'm not the
before
leader of the Republican Party, free.
you think a few months. So hold on, 60 plus % of Floridians are in favor, depending on what poll you look at, are in favor of this amendment. So you think all those people are Trump supporters? That's what you believe.
No, that's not what I believe.
Okay. So
But
and by the way,
do you think that culture is entirely the leader of politics, or do you think that politics flows downstream of culture?
on this issue, culture leads, and I'm going to explain why, right? You have people who will vote for and depending on the situation, they'll vote for the Republican in spite sometimes. So let's get like, DeSantis is a good example. The 6-week ban was very unpopular in the state of Florida. If you looked at polls, 60+% of
Well,
Floridians,
free. To be fair, free. To be fair, Ron DeSantis did not run. Like I
but
know,
that's
and again, a lot
that's
of
my point.
not people in here, but there are DeSantis people who will say like he didn't run on the 6-week bill when he won in his 19-point plus landslide. Like he didn't run on a 6-week bill.
Exactly, and that's my point.
It doesn't exist.
He won in spite of the fact that some people knew that he's more tough on abortion. He won in spite of that.
Correct. Yeah.
But when people got a chance to vote on it directly and separate the issue from the person, they or when people are getting to now, you look at the polls and you're looking at the same percentage of people who were against the 6-week ban now lining up to vote yes on this amendment 4. So
Well, but
like
why would they vote against like the party is basically saying that this is a bad thing and that they would rather have Amendment 4 passed. No one has come out and said a single. There has not been any
But
opposition to it
I
at all.
free
free,
he's missing the
free.
point
So real
that before
free,
Amendment 4
free.
was a
So real
thing, the
quick though.
people
So
said that
this.
they didn't want the restrictions 60
Yeah,
plus
maybe
percent.
6 weeks.
So
Maybe they don't
so
support 6 weeks, but I can almost guarantee you that 99% of that state doesn't support 9-month abortion. But
but
like,
free.
hey,
what are
okay,
you
guys,
talking about?
if
Chad,
y'all would,
real
just
quick,
one
why?
minute, please.
Real quick.
Oh,
Like, but so my point is a very similar, if not the same bill, is in Nevada. It's in Missouri. Like, this isn't just, I mean, same groups funding all of them. Like, this isn't a state issue. Like, I'm with you, Free.
And the
Like,
pro-choicers are going to win on
take
those ones as
abortion,
well, man.
off the table nationally. That's fine, but like Trump already uses the rhetoric that Democrats, support abortion up to birth. Like, it's not hard to say to his supporters in the state of Florida, which they're it's a Trump state, as much as people don't want to admit that. Like,
Bear,
do not like.
is the juice
I do
worth the
not. I
squeeze?
am voting no on Amendment
Yes.
4
Is
because
no
I
no
do
no
not support
I'm asking
abortion up
Bear
to
because he's not
birth.
being
free.
That's
Can
emotional
I
about
simple.
get
it.
1 second,
Let me
please?
just
That's
ask Bear
Okay.
simple.
this
That's
question. Let me
simple.
ask Bear this
Okay,
question
and
as
then I'm
follow up.
gonna go.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Bear,
What's the question, Free?
is
What's the
and I want you to substantiate this. Is the juice
yeah?
worth the squeeze for him to come out and speak on
A million
what
percent.
let,
Because him
let me
saying
qualify that.
those words
You're
exactly.
responding
One sec,
before
Free.
you understand the question.
Him. Hold on, Free. Him talking about Amendment 4 in Florida will solidify every single doubt I said about the evangelicals coming out for him in November. So
Not if it's a
yes,
trap
I a
bear.
million percent think it's a gigantic
Bear,
deal that he doesn't have to come out and hold up a sign. Like, just say the bill supports abortion up to birth. The end. I'm voting no. The end. The
you
end.
know what happens if he says the
It's a
bill
state
supports abortion up to birth? The fact checkers come out and they call it BS because if you look at the way the law is written
They
and you
Viability.
don't
already
give it
do that.
and you don't give it
He already says it,
the
Free.
word.
He says it in
Hold on,
almost every speech. He says it
guys,
in
just
almost
hear
every
what I'm
speech.
trying to
So
say. If you don't give it the worst possible interpretation, the bill does not say abortion up to birth, man. It says viability.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Correct.
It
and so
says
you
up to
All right, one
viability.
minute, LT, co-host
Yeah.
here.
So
Hi,
yeah.
it's
So
everybody.
it does
definitely
say up to
Co-host
viability. So it
LT,
doesn't say.
LT. Hey, hi.
it.
Oh, I want to talk to Chad for a minute because he does make a valid point. Um, the fact that
He does ever. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
when he says he's about saving lives, I believe him. But you guys, here's my thing. If Trump came out and even said the slightest thing, he could be clipped. They would make a possible.
But why? Here's my thing,
And
though.
hold on, just 1 second, please,
But
Bear,
the ads
because I
are
will
already
please.
up.
And then, but the Democrats then could put it across, get their base all riled up. It happens every 4 years, only at
Hold on. You
election
think they need
time.
his
But
help
The
to
other
get the
the
three
ads.
base
years, it
But
riled up?
doesn't matter. And then
why?
it gets them all riled up.
But
But wouldn't
why?
this be a
They're
better
already
idea,
running
Bear?
the
Wouldn't this
abortion
be a
ad.
better idea if DeSantis addressed his community and said, citizens of Florida? Now, what I'm
No,
trying
what
to
I'm trying
figure
to
out,
say
and
is
I've
a
asked many
Trump
people
voice is
in
more
Florida,
powerful. That's what I'm trying
where
to
do
say.
you stand? What is it that you don't like about this bill? I hear it's because 6 weeks, they would settle for 3 months. Possibly, go less than 15, but go 12 months. I know he doesn't have a lot of time right now to change everything, but if he says, people of Florida, do not vote for this bill, and I will increase it to 12 weeks. Then we keep our parent rights. Then we
Why?
don't have to
Question.
worry about
Why?
the
Question.
Go ahead.
Question. So, like, I agree with you and Free when it comes to abortion as a winning / losing argument nationally, this and that. But, like, in Florida and nationwide now in the general, there are ads in Arizona, in Pennsylvania, already saying Trump supports an abortion nationwide. Like, it doesn't matter what he says, so he might as well
You're
defend
assuming people believe
the
that.
base. And
But
what
didn't he
for?
say that
You're
today,
making
Bear?
the
Am I
logical
correct that he
leap
said
that
that
because
today,
an
Of
Bear?
ad
course,
He
but
exists,
said
there's
me
art.
and my
But you,
administration
no,
will
Free,
be
real quick,
great for
Free.
reproductive
you're making the
rights.
Wise
logical
argument. What?
leap that because a narrative exists,
Time
but
out. She made the argument. If Trump said this, this would be the narrative. That narrative is already painted. There are no narratives to be.
you're
Trump
ignoring the
supports
counter
in a.
narrative.
No, 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 no.
The
Exactly.
reason why
Go with
we're
your
talking
base and
about this
make an
right
argument.
now.
Exactly.
No, hold on, Bear. The reason why we're even having this conversation, the reason why it's been topic of Twitter today is because of the counter narrative that Trump has put out. So don't tell me about the narrative without talking to me about the counter narrative. The counter narrative exists and it's in the zeitgeist. People
But Free, he
understand
did say today that he did come out and say that
exactly.
him and
It's
his
on the news.
administration
For
would
you
be
just said
great for
you just said like
You
reproductive
five
just
minutes
rights
proved
for
my
ago.
women.
point for me.
You just said like 5 minutes ago that 4% of the Republican Party cares about this. Like 60% of the Democrat Party cares about this. If you think that people are going to flip their vote based on abortion because
Chad,
the
you
Democrats
are
are,
okay. You're a Kamala conservative, dude.
what are
You're
you talking
okay.
about?
All right. All right. Listen. Past experiences and stuff. It's just that it doesn't work in here. Will, go ahead. Will.
Double
Will?
mute. There we go. Hey, sorry. Just a couple quick
Upton to save
items.
the day. Thank you, Upton.
Items on this. One, as far as like Trump coming out on the Florida amendment issue, so early voting begins on October 26th. We've got a lot of time here still. Whether or not it comes out now or later, I mean, remains to be
Will,
seen.
question for you. What are
I
your
think.
thoughts on that whole thing?
Well,
And not necessarily the amendment. Like the amendment's a whole different conversation, but just
yeah.
on
I mean, the Dems are
the.
putting on the ballot to drive turnout. I don't think it's going to succeed in Florida, just given the numbers I've seen. I think you probably are going to end up with legal weed and not Amendment 4. But
Oh, don't
unless
tempt
Ken
me to
Griffin
move to
saves the day,
Florida.
Ken
Don't
Griffin
tempt
may
me.
actually kill
Don't
legal
tempt me.
weed. But I do want to point
Hey,
like one thing
Will,
out.
real quick, Free.
Yep.
Like, you know how you go back and forth with everybody all day, and I just, I love everybody, so I just enjoy it. But
Yeah.
like, weed passes in Florida, you'll never see a more fun Twitter with me. But go ahead, Will.
Yeah. But I do think actually like unless Ken Griffin really does pull out all the stops, I think legal weed probably narrowly passes, and I think Amendment 4 goes down. In a good way. Like I actually think we'll win that one. But I Trump may say
One of
something, he
my
may
good
not.
friends, hey, Will,
I don't think it really impacts
one of
it
my
one way or
good
the other.
friends, one of
Yep.
my good friends, she works at True Leave, the company that DeSantis and Christine and all them are at war with, even though DeSantis is funded by the hemp industry.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Will.
Yeah. So the couple things I want to point out is one, the Trump truth. I think people are kind of misinterpreting it a bit. When he's talking about reproductive rights, I actually think, and he does this because he doesn't really understand some of this stuff, the nuances of it. I think he's legitimately just talking about IVF. Like, I actually think that's what that
Oh,
tweet was about.
goodness sakes.
I
What
really
I'm
do think that's what
saying,
that
just
tweet was about.
keep your
And he
mouth
just
shut
didn't
about everything.
he was trumping it. He just, shoots from the hip and says stuff. You go, wait, what? Oh, wait, he was actually talking about this, and he just said something that, like, in his head, it was what he thought it was. He doesn't care. But I do want to point out something. Like, I've heard conservative party tonight. I've heard a lot of people like talking about sort of what the Republican Party stands for. I would refer everybody to really good Pew Research piece done in 2021 called Beyond Red versus Blue: The Political Typology. And they did a very good analysis of the Republican coalition. about 23% of Republicans are categorized as what you would call a faith and flag conservative. These are the people that are like your hardcore pro-lifers. They generally identify as sort of very committed Christians. It's actually one of Trump's strongest blocks too within the party, interestingly. And they're also among the most likely to claim that he won the 2020 election. Committed conservatives tend to be conservative, but most of their primary focus is on economics. They will compromise on certain social issues. They make about 15% of the Republican Party. Then you have the populist right, which are very strong and probably the most what Pew kind of their research indicates is going to be the longest lasting block of Trump supporters within the party. And these are mostly highly restrictive on immigration, very critical about fairness in economics, as well as big banks and corporations. And they don't tend to have very strong focus on social issues. They are predominantly rural voters, least likely to hold a college degree. And then you have sort of the ambivalent right. They tend to be much more conservative on about government and social safety net. They're a little bit more libertarian, more modern immigration and social issues. And they're about 18% of the Republican Party. And there's a remainder of about 15% that are what they call stress sideliners, which are much more sort of moderate, old school Rockefeller Country Club Republicans. But like this idea that the Republican Party is a conservative party, I think is actually a bit of a misnomer. It has a conservative faction within the party. It's a sizable faction, but when the other factions sort of glob together, or enough kind of far flung elements within the party glob together, which they sort of have done in the Trump coalition, the conservatives actually aren't the majority of the party, even. So, like, I think we have to be very careful about how we discuss the Republican Party as an entity, because it actually isn't a conservative party. It never actually has been. Even in the Reagan era,
Well,
in general,
I mean, Will, to your
you
point
had
though, I mean, Will,
generally still moderate control within the party. So, like, I do think we need to be careful about that. That's just kind of what I wanted to chime in with.
no, and I mean, unfortunately, the lovely primary, even after Trump, it's gonna disagree. It's gonna kind of the counter argument of what I was making, but like, Trump came out against the abortion ban, which is ridiculous because he, said it was a state's issue. But like, then, even though it was low turnout, I mean, incredibly low turnout, Iowa still, the evangelicals still did come out for him,
There
even after
there
those
was
comments. So
research
like,
done today, Bear. Evangelicals, so evangelical Christians are still, in terms of actual vote swing, the largest block of Trump voters, the most likely to vote for Trump of any religious demographic. Then it's mainline Protestants, then it's Catholics, then it's Muslims, then it's Jews, and Trump actually wins the Muslim. The Muslim vote's a very small sample. So that one I'm kind of questionable on, but he had like an 11, I think he had like a 7-point lead there. But among Catholics, he was an 11-point lead. Among mainline Protestants, it was like 30 something, and among evangelicals, it was like almost 40. And Harris, like she wins atheists by 64%, which is wild. But like that is a huge block of the American populace now are non-believers. And so I think at times we should be somewhat mindful of. But like the Christian vote is very, very heavy Trump across all denominations.
yep, there's no denying that, and we're gonna differ on where and what, but like, Free, I will send you the numbers. And Steve Dace, like I said, he's done it. Few, like, you present me with numbers, I'll listen. But Dace has presented it a couple times, when it comes to when the pro life voters turn out. Whether it be 20s. I mean, the pro life voters even turned out in 22, believe it or not, if you actually go into the numbers. But like, so you lose a certain percentage, and that's just where my concern is how many of the independents / Democrats are you really going to pick up if you go into the pro-choice territory? That's all. The point I was trying to make on that is don't piss off your base while, but we'll see what Trump does, because like Will just said, it's just better if he just doesn't talk about it. Like the IVF, for an example, just don't talk about it. Just don't. Like, you'll be fine. Let Kamala and the Democrats just bury themselves. All right, let's go to hands because I have been talking. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lapis.
All right. Well, I wanted just
All
ask.
right, I
Did I
respect
hear?
that.
Oh, did you say Lapis or I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lapis. I'm out.
So I
Oh
remember
God, Lapis.
distinctly hearing people say, "Oh, Trump's not electable. He has no appeal to swing voters. We need to moderate and we need to bring back these suburban voters that we're losing."
Well, the general election
And
hasn't
then
happened yet.
when people like Trump actually say, "Hey, you know what? I think what people need to understand is that America is a huge country. We have 330 million people. There are pro choice
Do we,
states. We
Lapis?
don't have to like it, but that's just how it is. And Arizona,
Lapis, you always complain about
Arizona
Guys, let
is
rhinos.
him
not a
talk. Why
pro
do you
life
guys
state
always
anymore.
want to interrupt him? Then
Arizona
it
is
takes
a
him 50
And to
honorable
minutes.
Wise
Let him
point, if
talk.
you interrupt him, he's only going to go on
Can I
longer.
please?
So, like, I don't understand why you interrupt him because
Thank
he's only
you.
going to
Go
go on.
ahead, honey.
So,
Go
go ahead,
ahead.
Arizona
Lapis.
is not a pro-life state anymore, and a lot of that it would be worse if we did not repeal that law. Do you want Katie Hobbs to have a fucking trifecta and repeal the fucking E-Verify law, pass pro-illegal immigration laws? Like, we're literally so close to losing Arizona forever, and like these people want to
What
like
happens when you run Kerry fucking Lake?
even
Jesus
if we
Christ.
didn't run Kerry Lake, we still lost with McSally. We still lost, like
Yeah,
we
that's a
lost
bunch of
before
bullshit,
Kerry
Lapis.
Lake.
No other candidate would have pissed off
Miss-
every faction of
McSally
voters in
lost
Arizona.
twice before Kerry Lake even run. So I remember these people say, "Well, you see here, Trump doesn't appeal to suburban voters. We need somebody who can win and is electable." Okay, then why are you wanting him to take positions that are not electable and that make the electorate distasteful? So, like, what are you people? What are you? So which is it? Do you want to be electable? Or do you want to like continuously
Lapis,
lose?
you admitted last night that you started
So what
LT,
voting.
I
let
want,
him talk,
so
sweetheart,
I know,
please.
but he
Lapis,
admitted last night
Lapis, Lapis.
he was the never
wh-
DeSantis starter.
What I
Uh,
want, Lapis, is this: is I'm with you on the abortion issue, but you're not. Again, the stance he's taking, just because a certain percentage of the country, which is true, 60%, 61% of the country pro-choice, this and that, like, Trump has a record. Trump is pro-life. On paper, Trump is
Do you
pro-life.
think the
On
Pennsylvania is
paper,
pro
that's what he
life?
is.
Do you think the Arizona is pro
What's
life?
that?
Like these states are not like Michigan is definitely not pro life. I don't care what anyone says. Michigan is a pro choice state. Pennsylvania
Michigan.
definitely not. Arizona definitely
But in
not.
fairness, Lapis, we were talking about Florida. For the sake of the argument, we were talking about Amendment 4 in Florida.
Yeah, but
But
they were
what you're
saying that
talking
Trump
about
flip
definitely should
Well,
flopping,
be
no.
and I was
discussed.
just
I'm just not sure it's really a topic for this space when we have so many hands up,
no.
honey.
It was related because I was wondering, like, people want him
I'm
to
just
take
saying Lapis and
unelectable positions, and I was
Free
just
can jump in
asking
too.
why
Well, I'm just
Free
during the
can
saying,
answer this
primaries,
better. Free
I
can answer
agree.
this.
why
There's
Lapis.
not a
during the
So
single
primaries did you
pro-life
if
guys
state
Trump,
say
in.
so
that?
listen,
There's not a
Lapis,
single
real quick,
pro-life
this is my
state in this
question, Free.
nation. Maybe
Free, this is my
Alaska, but
question.
then again, no.
No,
Um,
Free, like I'm talking like the pro-life voters in Georgia, like the Brian Kemp voters. Like, so is it worth what he's doing? Is my question. The percentage of voters let's say he goes full. I mean, he's just about at that, at that arrow where he's pushing towards the pro-choice. Like after his statement, like he's pushing towards the pro-choice. Like, so is it worth
Georgia's
pushing
the
that
only
way?
pro-life swing state. The others are pro-choice.
But
Okay,
Barry,
and it's
thank you,
also it's
Lapis.
if you
also
allow Georgia
interesting.
to vote on that issue, it would the same thing that would happen there that happened in Ohio. It's
What
But
about
are
the
there's
we
not
are
a
we
non-swing
not
there
going
states?
to address
there.
the fact that he did say that him and his administration would be beneficial for reproductive rights for
Well, no,
all
that's what we're
women?
talking about. But what I'm saying is, throughout this nation, we have to get it out of our heads that there are pro-life states. There are none. When people get in the voting booth and they
What
close
do you
that
define
curtain,
as pro-life?
what I'm saying is, if they have
I
the
mean, that's a
opportunity,
that's a pretty big
If
part of the
I'm
argument.
trying
You're
to answer
saying
the question,
no. You're saying these things don't exist.
I'm
What
trying
what
to
is
No,
answer the
pro-life?
question. So listen
my thing
carefully.
is like just
Listen carefully.
hoping that they
Listen
turn out for
carefully.
Trump over Kamala, which is a very high possibility for
No,
you. Like
no,
it's a like I do
Bear.
agree.
Just
Like
give me like 30
but
seconds, and
like
I'm gonna
all right,
explain. I'll
yeah,
explain.
go ahead.
There are two reasons why there's no pro-life states. Number one, if given the opportunity and the people get to directly vote on these issues, there's a 100% record right now of these states of people voting the pro-choice way. That's number one. Number two, and the thing that most people seem to be forgetting here, where they're like, "Oh, he won't gain any other voters." There's another move at play here. He has to make sure that he's not motivating the single issue Democrats, motivating and by I think it's like 15, 20% of Democrat voters. He's got to make sure that he's not motivating them to come out like they did in 2022 when they were really, really up in arms about abortion. So it's not just about gaining votes, it's
Well, he
about
overturned Roe v.
suppressing
Wade.
turnout. And
They were
if
already
that
voting
person
against
is
it.
like a little bit busy on the day that they were supposed to vote, and they say, you know what, I'm just gonna stay home. Everybody else has got it. If Trump is not the big scary guy on abortion, then they're more likely to stay home. But if it's a rallying cry that's credible, then they're more likely to come out. And so he's got to do everything he can do to stomp that out.
So,
So
Freed, those voters you just said though, they're already not voting for Trump because he overturned Roe v. Wade. He put the justices on the
Yes,
court.
but
Like
many
But
are
what about
voting
the
for the
ones
so,
that
like
are
couch.
why
Republicans,
alienate
Bear?
your base?
We can't forget the ones that are
Many
under
are
our
voting for the
umbrella
couch,
now
Bear.
that
Many
are
are voting for the
moderate,
couch.
centrist, populists, that are for the exceptions, life of the mother, incest, but agree on the 15 weeks. And they are
Again, I am not
Republicans.
even making. Again, I am not a pro life voice on this app or pro life voice in real life. Like I'm just taking it from a strategic standpoint. I do not think it is smart to alienate your own base
But it's not
But
when
what
smart
if
to
your
in
base is the
reality,
minority?
it's hold on
even
guys,
if
let me
he
just say this
leaves
real
it to
quick.
the
It's not
states,
smart
it's
to
not going to
galvanize your
affect the
opponent
election.
either. It's not smart to take your
Or
opponent's
not.
number one voting issue and galvanize them around that issue. That's way worse than losing a small percentage of a small percentage of a small percentage. So you have a small percentage of Republican voters who are like, abortion's my top issue. And then a smaller percentage of that percentage is going to say, I'm staying home and allowing Kamala Harris to win because Trump is not as pro
Free,
life as I want them to be.
free. My one question to you, and you know I love you to death,
Hmm.
is when's the? Can you name one time where Trump bent the knee on an issue and won?
What do you mean bent the knee?
Where he just gives in to the other side, let's say B, because I mean that post today, it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely not giving in to the right. Let's put it that way. So, like, is there a time where Trump has, you know, given in to the left and won for given in as in tried to get for votes and won
Well,
on an issue
well,
B because I cannot name one.
let me phrase it a different way. How many times has Trump bucked Republican Party tradition and moved the party in a different direction than the party already was
well,
going?
that direction is left.
Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement. Has he taken because remember the Republican Party was the party of rah 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 war in Iraq until Trump came along and said no. And by the way, I'm not honoring that war. I'm not gonna say that it was a good thing. I'm gonna denigrate that war, and he won. There's many times where mind
I
you,
do love I
that
do
was the
miss that
leftist.
Trump.
Remember, that was the
Love
Uh,
that
left
stuff.
position.
I could give
That
you one
was the
Obamacare. Like he kind of did win in 2016 by promising to repeal Obamacare, but that's probably about
Yeah,
it.
That's a
he
good one,
also ran
Joshua.
on
Thank you.
overturning Roe v. Wade and won in 2016, bringing it back to
That's
our
literally the
previous
But
opposite
leadership.
of what he said.
my point is
He
he's
asked you for an
taken
example
the
of a time
party
where
and
he
made it
moved
more
left.
mainstream in certain
Chad, we don't want to
areas.
hear from
You
you right
just
now.
Josh, you just said that he ran on 2016 on repealing Obamacare and he won. And guess what he didn't do? Repeal
Well,
Obamacare.
technically,
He
how's that?
moved.
How is that his fault? Because John McCain voted against it. So what was he
Yes,
supposed to
but
do?
because now he doesn't want to repeal Obamacare and then he lost.
Nobody
So
wants to
Bears,
repeal Obamacare now. Are you
but
kidding
that's the
me?
point. He
Find
fucking
me one
every
senator
time
that's running on
Free
that
what
issue,
he
man. Like
just
you
said
care about
what
virtue
Bear just
signaling.
said
You don't
is
care
that
about winning. You
every
want a
single
virtue
time he
signal.
moves, oh my god, every single time he moves to the left, he loses There's not a single issue that he
What is
won
he
on any of
talking
his
about,
things.
man?
I mean, I would say
How
he
is
kind
that
of.
an
Am I
example?
talking to a fucking wall? Bear just
Yeah, I
said,
mean, clearly, because
Bear,
you're not
listen,
making any
let me just
sense, man.
recount what just happened real quick, okay? Bear asked,
I would agree with what I just said.
yeah,
Yes,
Bear
is that
asked, is there a time?
every time he moves left on a position that he previously won over in 20, like they were rallied around him in 2016
So
Correct.
on an issue. Every time he moves left on that issue, he loses.
I mean,
Bear, what was the
You know,
what was
hold on,
the
hold on,
Bear?
free. Hold on, Bear. I would agree with you that yes, when it came to like him moving left on abortion does not do him any favors. But I will point out that
Zero.
individually in certain even in red states and red counties that voted for Donald Trump, and let's say that maybe voted for Ron DeSantis in the primary, for example, or whatever, like they voted to legalize abortion. Why is that? Why did a lot of Republican voters
that's
vote?
because that's because he
Like,
had
because remember,
millions of dollars dumped
these
in.
are Republican states, like the Kansas referendum, the Ohio referendum.
I'm
Explain why.
Ohio. Ohio. Like I get it. We're a pro-choice country. I get it.
We're
I completely get it, Josh.
that's
But like when you
I've
look,
got a
if you're gonna
suggestion,
win the
everybody. Bear, we have
presidency
had
as a
these hands up here
Republican,
forever.
Hold
Can
on,
we
just
do a
let
lightning
Bear
round
land
and
on that
get
because
through
I want
these
to hear
hands
that
and quit
point because that
ignoring them,
that's
hold
please?
on.
important.
Free's gonna say the hold on. I know my guy Free's gonna say that the country has shifted left and the demographics of this and that. But like 2022 is gonna back up what I'm saying. I'll send it to you. I can't while I'm hosting here, Free. But it's not when you alienate a certain percent of your most loyal, I didn't say the largest, the most loyal base of the Republican Party. And I don't even agree with that most loyal base on everything that they say. I'm talking about the pro life movement. But like when you alienate that certain, you are not making up for them in independents and Democrats. You just are not. The numbers are it doesn't add up.
Yes,
If
it does. That's how he won
no,
in
it does not.
2016.
100%
Bear. That's how he.
free.
Listen,
Donald J. Trump ran on overturning Roe v. Wade.
the
Bear. Just
The
listen.
pro-life
Just get
movement,
'And the
10 seconds. Literally,
border.
100%
count me
came
down. Count me
out
there
down.
for
10
him.
seconds. 10 seconds. Just count me down. In 2016, he was to the left of the entire Republican Party on many issues, including
He
foreign pop.
literally moved the party to the right. Donald J. Trump literally
Bear,
in
this
2016
is
moved, like
revisionist
we're talking about
history.
Mitt Romney here.
Just listen to what I'm
No, he
saying real
moved the
quick.
party to the
Where was
right,
the
free
Republican Party and where was the
completely.
conservative movement on the issue of, let's say, like wars?
I
What I just said.
Yeah, Trump moved the party to the left on those issues where the left was at that time, right?
but
He bucked party tradition in like about a billion different ways, and he won by doing that. So that's to answer your question. That's what he did. That's how he won. The reason why I didn't support him in 2016, I was like, this guy's not a conservative. And you know what? MAGA was like, I don't care.
He marched in the right to life for in March. Like Trump ran on the most pro life. And again, I'm with you guys when it comes to politics, this and that. I'm just saying with the Republican base, Trump ran in 2016 on the most pro life platform ever. Like, and he did it. I mean, again, we can argue if he's the most pro life
the,
person. Obviously not. But like on paper, hold on, Lapis. He ran on it and did it free. Like I disagree with what you're saying. Like he proved that in 2016. He proved it. Like we talk about 2016 with how how much Kamala is down versus Hillary. Like Trump proved it in 2016. Like you need your loyal Republican base. You need it in 2020. Like you and I disagree. I mean, in 2020, what happened? Like I still think mathematically and what took place and this and that. Like I still have many questions on what happened in 2020. Um, but like you look at numbers, he got 11 million more votes after putting those justices on the court. Like it's not a losing issue for Trump. So to alienate any of his base, which is pro-life, like Trump's base is pro-life, and that's why people say, what's the difference between Trump and RFK or Trump and a Democrat? There's not much, but you know what is the difference? Their base.
What's the
Trump's
policy
base.
difference between yesterday when he didn't put out that tweet and today? What has
Well,
changed policy wise?
there's
What
not much because
It
we
was
knew that's where he
unnecessary.
stood. but it's
completely
still going to
unnecessary.
affect the party. And what Bear, and I'm not going to speak for
What's the
Bear.
policy difference,
Well,
folks?
the policy difference is
Well, it's
that
even
he
more to the
committed. He's
pro-choice
doing
side.
another flip flop. Let's
No,
be
what
honest,
is the policy difference, folks? I'm gonna ask it again. I'm gonna
But
buckle
he
y'all
never
down
gave
on
us
this
a
question.
policy, Free.
What is the
So
policy difference?
But
What changed
you
between
can't
yesterday and
you
today?
can't say that,
so
Free.
Free, I'm
When
going to take
we
the
won't
opposite
commit to
side. I'm going to
one.
say until he clarifies his post, I'm going to take it that he's now a pro-choice person, because
Based
that is
on
what it
what?
implies. It implies the last few words in that post. In I mean, that's literally what it, like, if anybody else wrote that like,
Fair.
that's what
What
that's what it
is
implies,
the
Free.
policy difference?
Well,
That's not a fair
he
question,
You,
was
Free.
you first of all,
leaving it.
you're
He
lying
no,
to
it's a
yourself if
fair
you didn't
question. That's
think
fine. That's a
Trump was
fair question.
pro-choice all along. He said as much in many
Free.
interviews over the years.
I am. Yes, I am not arguing Trump is a pro. I am not arguing any. I started this space by saying I don't even. What Trump says. This. All I'm saying is it is not. No, he said let's leave it to the states. I will return. I gave the pro-life movement this and that. Like, this has been his message throughout the last year and a half. We're going to leave it to the states. He's has talked about heartbeat bills and this and that. But, like, all of a sudden, because I'm telling you, Free,
Has it
he
changed?
watched Kamala's speech. Yes, he watched Kamala's speech, which was horrid, but he saw what she was saying, and that is the reason for that post today. That's he hasn't used that language ever, ever,
I'm just waiting for the
The
policy change, but I don't think there is
ever.
one.
For
Hey,
well, that's
Bear.
the change right there. He's never used
Oh
that
my
Okay,
language
God,
ever.
Bear,
Lapis, Josh,
honey,
Jesus
guys,
Christ.
hold on one
I'm
second.
not
Bear, we've had people
speaking.
with their hands up for
It's
45
probably your
minutes.
space thing.
It's all
It's not
right. They
me.
can wait.
It's not me. It's Twitter.
They can wait, or they can go to
I'm
a
not even
different space.
speaking.
It's not that hard.
Well, until now, I was.
Go. All right. Go. Go ahead, Gator.
Okay. I can I can say pretty much as a Southern Baptist, middle Georgia voter, in a swing state. We're not going to allow abortion to become a wedge issue in this election. It's simply not going to happen. I talk to a lot of people, that don't that are pretty much, when you meet these people in the street, they're apolitical. They're more, your cookie cutter evangelical, bless your heart, you love Southern Baptists. That's who we are. Come to the barbecue. We're we work too hard to bring the issue back to the states. We can handle it on the states. This is a conversation we've had. I'm 49 years old. I've talked to pro-choice people, and I've been more to the left of most pro-choice people, but I still view abortion as murder. But you have to have a consensus on a local, uh, much larger on a state, if you want to make it a state law. But there's no way you can't allow it to become a wedge issue on a federal level, because it's a moot point on the federal level. you know that's not what's what the conversation we need to be having. This election is going to be won in the swing states. And Jason can lose his mind, all he wants, but that's the reason why he used to blow
Flink's
up
gonna
my
lose it
my
anyways.
friggin' DMs, nonstop, just because he disagreed. Just because you disagree doesn't make a fact not so. But I'll land my plane there.
I don't know anybody that's asking for a federal abortion ban. People are just saying, you wanted this to go to the states. It might be nice if you come out and say, like, hey, this is probably not great if they want to kill babies that are about to be born. That's not that hard. That's not like a crazy thing to. If you want to flip, like, everybody's talking about flipping the narrative and the counter narrative. The counter narrative is that Democrats want to kill babies that are about to be born. And all you have to do to end that is come out against the 10 states that have these bills on the plate and say
Correct.
these are
That's
really
literally it.
bad.
So
You
the
don't
Democrats
even have
want to
to come
kill
out in a
babies has been a
pro-life.
winning message thus far. Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Chesney, do you
But
want
but
Democrats to have a
free, but free.
trifecta in
This is
We
Arizona?
but
Is
haven't
that
heard
okay
that
with
one
you?
but
yet.
free, but free. This is my point though, is that Trump already uses that language in almost. I mean, I watch most of it. Like in almost every speech, Trump says that how Kamala's a radical. She supports abortion up to birth. That's literally the bill in the state Donald Trump resides in. So like, it's not hard to just say it's a state's issue.
But
I live in the state of Florida. I'm voting against Amendment 4 because I do not believe in abortions up to birth. That's all he has to
But
say. He
here's the
doesn't have to say
problem. And by the
anything
way,
else.
shooting
It's a
yourself in the
Democrat
foot.
bill. That's all he has
You
to
want to
say.
see a bunch of money flooding the Florida for pro Amendment 4 stuff. You want to see
Yeah, how much
you
more,
want to
Free?
see
How much more can
celebrities
possibly
drop
flow
in.
into Florida?
You want to
How
see
much more can
Beyonce and
possibly
Taylor
flow in?
Swift come into Florida and really push people to vote yes on Amendment 4. Yeah, have Donald Trump turn this into a national issue. Let's see how that works out, man. Like that
I
makes
want to
no
make
sense.
something clear though, and just real quick, Bear, if you would, I think it's very important that we talk about this real quick. I met some Democratic women earlier, a few weeks back, and I was shocked what I found out. A lot of these women are not for full term abortion. What they explained to me was they are in the middle. They don't like the far left. Actually, many of them are voting Republican because of the social issues that is occurring right now within the Democratic Party. Now, where this aligns with the abortion issue is this: they're concerned that the way it is written, like we don't trust them to not have these babies murdered at 9 months, they don't trust us to say if they find out their baby is doesn't have a brain and they're 7 months along and the baby can be born but will be dead within seconds, they don't want to have that baby then. They don't want to go through that trauma, and they want to be able to have the right that if something is wrong with that baby, they don't have to carry it 9 months. So they have some of them. All I'm wanting, it opened my eyes to the fact that some of them believe that we're so horrible, we'll make them carry that baby to term, even though that baby may not have a heart or eight,
Oh,
or may not have a brain. And it didn't dawn on me that that was even something that would even be possible. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you, Bear.
no, of course. Like, messaging and everything is a whole different conversation, and actually, like this whole conversation is really a whole different conversation when it comes to morality and this and that. All I'm saying is it Free, one, probably top two of my favorite people on this app. Again, I'm gonna ask to my brother, I'm with you on this issue, but when it comes to Trump and his base in Florida, which will decide, by the way, and that's what drives my DeSantis friends crazy, is Amendment 4 will come down to MAGA in the state of Florida. Like, that's what it's going to come down to. Will they side with the Democrats or will they side with the Republicans? Like, that's what it comes down to. So, my question again, Trump says it daily or anytime he speaks in speeches. Democrats, they're radical. They support abortion up to birth. Why can't he leave abortion up to the states and say in Florida, and if he wants to expand to the other states, that's fine. He just happens to live in Florida. But in Florida, Nevada, Missouri, these bills, these amendments support abortion up to birth. This is a Democrat funded, because it is Democrat funded by far. Democrat funded amendments, and just look at who's funding them. Why can't he say, I'm voting no, I do not support abortion up to birth? Simple as that.
Bear, you haven't even. I've been in a bunch of these spaces and people have explained this bill to me. You haven't even convinced me that the bill supports abortion up to birth without some like kabuki
It does.
stretching. Hold on, let me just without some kabuki stretching of the truth, because I know when most people read that and they read viability, which by the way I don't even support up to viability, but in terms of just who's being honest with you, If I'm a voter and I'm reading that and Trump tells me, oh, it supports abortion up to birth, and the fact checkers come out and say, no, he's lying, and then I read it and it says fetal viability, I'm going to assume that he's lying, and now you've hurt your credibility. All you've done is open up a whole other can of worms. Now he's got to explain this Florida law and break down all the nuances of this Florida thing that or Florida amendment that he had no part in crafting. He has no part in it. He's got to explain the nuances of it in order to fit the narrative that you guys are trying to put out there. It is a quagmire that you don't want to get into when you're running a national race. Y'all haven't even convinced me. Where does it say abortion up to birth?
But free,
And if it
there
takes you
Amen,
are
more than
there.
10
free.
seconds, if it takes
Amen.
you more
Oh
than
my
10
God,
seconds to explain it to me,
Ron.
then
All right,
then
listen.
paying for
I hate to
paying for
bring this.
Walmart won't believe you either.
I hate to bring DeSantis into this, but DeSantis is in Washington State on trips on the West Coast raising money for Donald J. Trump. Okay, like massive, massive, and like people say, oh, DeSantis and Trump's I mean, listen to Dacia. So I mean, I could have told you from the people I know, but like even listen to Steve Days, like he'll tell you Trump and DeSantis talk regularly. So like, but free. The point I'm trying to make is DeSantis is in Washington State raising money for Trump. I mean, massive amounts of money. When I say massive, I mean the numbers have been reported. Like, why can't Donald Trump fight on an issue where he doesn't even have it? Like, it doesn't affect him nationally.
It
Bear, may
does.
I?
It just doesn't.
Bear,
I
may
just
It
I?
does
explained to you,
not
Bear. I just explained to you that
affect
the
him.
second he opens up his mouth on this, he's gonna have to
Are they
substantiate.
gonna?
He's
So
he's gonna
are
have to
they going to
substantiate the
free?
argument
Free.
behind it, and the argument
So
doesn't make
are
any
they going to
sense.
take down? So I mean, currently running as we speak, as I said, in Pennsylvania, in Arizona, in Michigan, and Wisconsin, the ads are running that Trump wants a federal abortion ban, and they're actually pretty effective. So like, are they going to take down those ads?
No, they're not.
What?
But they're gonna put up new
Like
ones.
they've already.
Trump
Why
doesn't want
alienate
a
your
Trump
base?
doesn't want a federal abortion ban. He wants to
Good.
stay
No shit. No shit.
he wants to stay out of it, and he should. Free is right.
He
He's
should stay
trying
out of
to
it. So
win a
why is he
federal
leaning even more
election.
pro-choice as the days
Bear,
go on?
Bear,
Because the
Because
Bear,
it
Absolutely.
may
You
I?
could
won't
not
do
have
him
You
said
any
have
that any
me,
better,
good.
who's not
Jackman.
this pro-life fucking person, who's like, I mean, again, pro-life, but like, I'm not, a voice in this movement, and I'm saying like, it's stupid.
No,
It's
it's
fucking
not.
stupid.
Okay,
It's a,
so
it's
every candidate,
100% retarded as fuck
Okay, this
to
is
what's
alienate
in
your
it for
base
him?
while
What's in it for
playing to the
him?
Democrats and independent. What's that?
Bear, what's in it for Trump to go out and say something on this amendment in Florida? What's in it for him?
What's in it for him? The base I was talking about earlier in this space. All you have to say is that I am
What's in it for
again.
him, though?
Hold on.
What's in it
Ready?
for him?
Ready? Hold on. Let me explain. Ready? I
Okay.
am the most pro-life president, which you can't argue against it. Okay? Abortion, they ruled, we're leaving it to the states. I live in Florida. There is an amendment that supports abortion up to birth. Which he
fact
uses in
check
every, like I said,
incorrect.
hold
Trump.
on.
I'm
Yes,
just telling you what's
fact
gonna happen.
it does. But like he for you, no, I've smoked too much for this. Like he just doesn't.
You know, I could tell, right? I was like, yo,
No,
Bear.
But
like
free,
no,
he
like
could
no.
speak
This
out
is the
about parent
argument I'm making.
rights.
It doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make
No, it
All
sense
right,
does
so
to
make
Bear,
piss
sense
off.
you're
because
Trump. I want you
he's
to do
going
your
to
best
keep it
Trump
to the
impression.
states.
Do your best Trump impression. We're in an interview. This is 60 Minutes or one of the Sunday shows. Go. Tell me what you think about the Amendment 4 thing in Florida. Do your best Trump impression while you're high. Go ahead.
Well, I can't do. I mean, I'm always high. It doesn't matter
May I?
what time of day it
May
is.
I?
But I mean, you wake up. I mean, as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to
Can
be
we go to
high. But
hands?
um, what's that, Josh? You could take that hand and shove it right up your bunghole. But my answer for you would be, go ahead, Josh. That's where I'm going to go with it.
So I have a question for you,
I'm gonna
Bear.
light one up while Josh goes. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think the Chicago Cubs are going to be able to make the wild card?
No,
You don't?
no. As much as I would love my Cubbies to make it, no.
And what are your thoughts? Are the Bears going to be good this season or not?
I think they're gonna be 10-7.
So is that enough to make the wild card?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was just
It looks
curious.
like Chicago's getting ready to burn down.
No, the Chicago sports team is. I think the Bears. I think you're right. I think the Bears go either like 10-7. I
All
think
right,
that's
free,
correct.
ready?
So yeah.
Amendment 4. It's as simple as fucking this. Okay? I am the most pro-life president, blah, 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 blah. It is left to the states. They make their decisions. I am a Florida resident and free. Like I said, for the millionth time, he says it in his speeches every fucking time.
I'm the ghost
Democrats
of Tim
support
Russert.
abortion.
I'm not free. You're
Hold
Trump.
on.
Good.
Okay, hold on. Like, I'm just saying what I'm about to say, there's a reason behind it. He says it in his speech every fucking time. Democrats support abortion up until birth. Like, so that is the argument. That is all.
But Mr. Trump, the
Literally
Florida
every
law does
single
not
one
support
of
abortion
his.
up to
Yes, it does.
birth. It
Yes, it does.
Oh no,
100%
Mr.
does.
Trump, we
Every
fact
single one
checked
of
it
his
and
allies
and
does.
and the
Yeah, walk
amendment
past my
says
house.
up until fetal viability. How do you substantiate your claim?
Do you know what else the amendment
No, I
says?
just want Mr. Trump to
Yeah,
substantiate his
It says that
claim
we
that
it says
haven't
that
even
parents.
entered the we haven't
It
even
says that
entered the
parents don't
parental
need to
realm.
hey,
be.
We
guess
haven't
what?
even
You just
entered the
Yeah,
stopped
it doesn't.
running
parental
for
realm.
Parents don't
president and
actually
you
have to
just
be told
started
about
running
their
for
children
president
under
of Florida.
15 that have an abortion. They don't have to tell the parents
Wrong.
of that.
This is about
It's
the
it's the
kids.
only that and transing kids is the only time that you can do something to a child and not have to tell their parents.
But
But
the
yeah,
but the
no, like
but
Trump
the
should definitely run
amendment,
away from
Mr.
that.
Trump, does not say abortion up to birth. As you can see here, and we're going to put it up on the screen. It says up until fetal viability. Guess what? Now you're in a quagmire because now you're having to explain an
But
amendment that you
free,
had no part in
but
writing.
free.
So instead of
So
running for president and
free. But
pushing your
that
agenda,
wouldn't
you're
even be my
defending
argument
a
against the
position that you have no part
amendment.
in.
But no, like you can go a million different angles with the amendment. I'm just saying from what Trump has said, where he says all the time, they supported up to birth. Like you can go with the parental argument. Like that's probably the strongest one with the parental consent. Like that's probably the strongest
What's the
argument. But
argument then?
That they don't have to tell